Yo, so what is up, everybody? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video I have something that I honestly think is a very cool concept. So pretty much we're going back in time to the last NBA offseason, the 2018 NBA offseason, and we're going to redraft the NBA draft, and all the trades that happened throughout the season never happened. So Kawhi's still on the Spurs, Jimmy Butler's still on the Timberwolves, so things are going to get really shaken up around the league. Now, to start off, obviously the number one pick I don't think would be DeAndre Ayton anymore. I think that the Suns, given the opportunity, would take Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic has an amazing season and seems like a generational talent. So, with the number one pick, the Suns will now be taking Luka Doncic. And with the second overall pick, I do think the Kings would try and take Trae Young. They do have De'Aaron Fox, but Trae Young also had an amazing second half of his season. With the third pick, we're going to be sending DeAndre Ayton to the Hawks. Now, DeAndre Ayton didn't necessarily have the season everybody was kind of hoping he was going to have, but he was still a very solid player, and the Hawks could really fill that void at center. Of course, they have John Collins, who is an emerging big man who's very good at the power forward position, but him and Ayton as a pairing would be amazing. So with the fourth overall pick in the NBA draft, I do think that here Jaren Jackson might still be taken by the Grizzlies. Obviously, all these picks are up for debate, and you could actually leave down in the chat who you think these teams would have taken in a redraft, but I personally think here Jaren Jackson Jr. still goes at number 4 to the Grizzlies. And here at number 5, we have the Mavericks, and obviously the Mavericks aren't going to be ending with Luka Doncic like they did in real life. And looking at the pool of players that they have at the time, they don't have Kristaps Porzingis yet, so I think with the players that were available here, that they would have actually went with Marvin Bagley at number 5. Pushing to number 6, who would the Magic have taken? See, now, this is where it starts to get a little fuzzy. I think they would have taken Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He had a very good season, and he's a very promising young point guard. They definitely have a hole at point guard in real life. I think that it was DJ Augustine and someone else that were splitting minutes, and I feel like they probably want some type of young talent to try and put there, because they obviously don't have Markelle Fultz and his potential yet, because that trade never happened. At number 8, I do think that Wendell Carter Jr. would still be heading to the Bulls. I think that they really like what they have there as far as his potential, and I think that with that pool of players, they would not have changed their pick. But next up, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. And with the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't think that they take Colin Sexton this time. He didn't have a terrible season, but with the players that are still here, I don't really see a situation in which they still take Sexton, especially with Mo Bamba falling. I think that most likely if Mo Bamba fell down to the Cavaliers, they would take him. Center is not necessarily a dying need for them, as they have Tristan Thompson, and they have a few other just okay centers, but Mo Bamba has a lot of potential, and despite him not having a great season in real life, he still has a ton of potential as the Nerlens Noel type of just great defensive big man. So next up, we got the Knicks with pick 9, and with the Knicks here, I really think that they would stay with their guy. I think that they would take Kevin Knox, given the chance once again at pick 9. I think they like his potential a lot. And number 10, this is as far as we're going. We're just doing the first 10. Well, at least I'm just going to tell you about the first 10, and then you'll see them later. But number 10, the 76ers. Now, this is an interesting pick for me. I don't know if anyone would really agree with this one, but I personally think if the Sixers were in this position again at number 10, and the team was the way it was in the offseason, which was Dario, Fultz, Simmons, J.J. Redick, Robert Covington, I think that in this situation, the Sixers actually go down and take Kevin Huerter. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, Kevin Huerter, there's other people on the board that are probably better, but Kevin Huerter actually had a very good season and filled a hole in this team that we really needed, which was shooting off the bench to start off the season. So I'll just take you through some of the rotations and show you just how much the teams have changed. So Markelle Fultz, Kevin Huerter, Rocco, Ben Simmons, Embiid, and Dario pretty much are the big guys for the Sixers. The Bucks aren't too much of a changed team, although they are starting Amir Johnson at the 4. The Bulls really aren't looking that changed either. Looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are a very interesting team. The Celtics aren't looking that much different. The Clippers, you still have Tobias Harris and Boban on the squad, because obviously that trade never happened, so Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will are coming off the bench, so a great bench squad there. Looking at some of these teams, it's definitely interesting. DeAndre Ayton and the John Collins duo with Dennis Schroeder still at point guard for the Hawks. The Heat, nothing really crazy going on there, because there usually isn't anything. Looking at some of these other squads, nothing crazy going on with the Hornets. A lot of the rookies aren't getting tick, obviously, because it's right to start off the season, and they don't really have that as like the thing. But coming off the bench, you have Trae Young as sixth man for the Kings. Looking at some of these other people that we got going on here. Buddy Hield, Bodan. You still have Zebo. Zebo's still starting at the 4. For the Knicks, you see Kristaps is still on the squad alongside Kevin Knox. For the Lakers, it's just interesting to see really just how much these teams have changed just over the course of from the off-season to like the finals right now. Like, so many teams are so different than they were. Dennis Smith Jr. is still on the Magic. The Nuggets pretty much look the same, but they do have Michael Porter Jr. healthy, so he would be starting at the 3. The Pacers, pretty much the same, but they do have Sabonis and Oladipo. The Pistons, Luke Kennard starting. Nothing crazy going on there. The Raptors, as you see, they do have DeMar DeRozan still and not Kawhi. And the Rockets, Chris Paul did not come back in the offseason, so they actually have Brandon Jennings starting. So definitely not what they want there. Really, James Harden is their only big piece left. For the Spurs, they do have Kawhi still. For the Suns, they do now have Luka Doncic, which we're going to have to try and figure out a way to have him, I guess, start at the small forward, because he is better than Josh Jackson, and he does need to be in their starting rotation for sure. Going on to the Thunder, you have a big what if and what could have been with Melo actually in their starting lineup. With the T-Wolves, you still have Jimmy Butler on the squad. With the Trailblazers, pretty much the same thing going on, nothing too different there. The Warriors, pretty much the same stuff, but everybody's healthy. And it didn't look like Boogie actually went there, I don't think, because it had Salah starting. So the teams definitely have changed a whole lot. But as far as the power rankings go, nothing was crazy, except for the Spurs were number 3. And with the Spurs being 3, that was obviously because of Kawhi. And while we're simming, if you haven't already, please drop a like down in the comments. We're pushing that 500 subs. You know, we're going to get there really soon. We're only about 23 or so subs away, which I'm very excited about. Once we hit 1K, it's going to be insane. MVP still goes to Harden. Rookie of the Year goes to Trae Young. Sixth Man of the Year goes to Nurkic. DPOY goes to Kawhi. So nothing is too crazy here. Looking at if anybody... Andre Drummond made All-NBA first team, so I don't know what's up with that, but that's actually insane. Was not expecting to see that name. CP3 All-NBA second team. That's also a little bit of a surprise, but not like Drummond on first team. Kristaps... He didn't... Oh, I just noticed the Grizzlies were the team that got Boogie, so that's kind of cool. Looking at the rookie teams, Trae Young, Marvin Bagley, Doncic, Mo Bamba, and Ayton. That's not that crazy. And then looking at the second team, I don't know who the hell this is, Brent Stevens, but Jaren Jackson, Wendell Carter, him, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Colin Sexton. Looking at kind of records and how everybody did this season, the Celtics, not too much of a surprise. They do have that, what was thought of to be a bomb squad, because everybody thought Tatum was going to get better. They thought Gordon Hayward was going to come and tear it up. And there was a lot of locker room issues with that squad. Looking at the Sixers, they did have Fultz starting, which is obviously something that was supposed to be like him. Fultz, Simmons, and Bede was supposed to be a crazy trio for years going forward. Looking at the Cavs, they did make the playoffs with not that crazy of a squad. Really just Kevin Love, JJ Redick, and Mo Bamba. The Raptors obviously did not do as well without Kawhi. The Knicks did make the playoffs with their tandem of Kevin Knox, Enes Kanter, and Kristaps. Looking at the Magic, it's definitely some interesting things going on here, for sure. the Lakers once again missed playoffs. The T-Wolves really went off. They ended up getting LeBron throughout the season, which is insane. So they had Jeff Teague, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, 59 wins. They were really pushing up against the Warriors. I don't know how the Rockets managed to get 54 wins with literally only James Harden. That's insane. The Spurs obviously had a pretty good season because they still have Kawhi. Just looking through, seeing if anything here is really surprising. The Thunder squad with Melo did make the playoffs. The Grizzlies did not make playoffs with Boogie. The worst team in the league was the Clippers, I think. So that's kind of insane, because they have a really solid team. If you look off their bench and everything, they still have Tobias Harris, so definitely some interesting stuff going on there. Here we are hopping into the playoffs themselves. We're going to sim the first round and kind of see what's going on and who's doing well and who's not. So I see the Thunder have taken the lead on the Warriors to start off 3-1, which is insane. Obviously, they have Melo, and it's a little bit different of a team than it was in real life. So let's see if they can rough it out and actually get the dub. They do. Melo actually had a very, very good game for them, which is kind of insane. So the Warriors actually lose to the what-if, Paul George, Russ, and Melo team. Looking at this series, good game from both CJ and Kawhi, but Kawhi and the Spurs take it. Looking at the Rockets, obviously that Rockets team that's just James Harden took the L to the Nuggets. Obviously the amazing team that is the Timberwolves now, because they have LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Cat, Jeff Teague. Obviously they made playoffs. Giannis did destroy the Sixers 4-1. Looking at some of this other stuff, Bradley Beal 27 points. So the Cleveland Cavaliers actually did sweep the Wizards 4-0, along with the Celtics sweeping the Knicks 4-0. And once again, it's looking like the Cavs are going to pull it out, but they don't have that great of a team, which is kind of insane. It got pushed to 7, and they won. So the Bucks did defeat the Pacers. The Cavs squad, look at that squad. It's not that great. Literally, JJ Redick, Mo Bamba, Kevin Love. Looking over here, we have the bomb squad that is the T-Wolves this year, and we have the Thunder what-if squad. And then we have Giannis and the boys. So let's see who will be the team that actually ends up winning it all. The Timberwolves do defeat the Thunder 4-1, and the Cavs go to the finals. This Cavs squad that's really not that great just went to the finals. George Hill, JJ Redick, Omari Caspi, Kevin Love, and Mo Bamba in the finals. So the Timberwolves take the first game. I'd be very surprised if the Timberwolves don't win this series. Let's see. The Cavs do get a game, but they lose. LeBron MVP. So if you guys like this video, like, comment, and sub. I'll see you guys next video.